So make sure you've got your calculator ready to go. You've got your pencil all fired up. And here we go. How many ways can 7 books be arranged on a shelf?
7 factorial.
7 factorial. Now, that is our work. So we write down 7 factorial, but then we type it in to get an actual answer. Girls in the back? So we type it in for an actual answer, and the answer is 5,040. Okay? General rule. If you're arranging things in a row, it's that many factorial. All right, how many outfits are possible if you have 4 pair of pants and 6 shirts? 24. 4 times 6. That's it. How many ways can you answer 8 true-false questions? Think about that for a minute.
So like the 5, like 8.
No, it'll be 8 P2.
No, but you're the closest so far.
Isn't it like 2
It is. It is. Remember, you sit down to take this test. 8 questions. How many choices do you have for question 1? 2. How many choices do you have for question 2?
2.
Now, when you take the quiz or take the test, you have to answer question 1 and question 2 and question 3. And when we're doing and, what operation? Multiplying. We only add those if we're doing an or. If we're only answering question 1 or 2, then we would add. But we're not, we're answering all of them.
Could you do 2 today?
Yes, 2 to the 8th power is the same thing. Now, while you were guessing, you were thinking, some of you were thinking this was a P or a C. Now, remember, P's and C's are used only when you have a big group and you're gonna pick a few out from that group. So I've got 10 kids and I'm gonna pick out 4 to take camping. Okay? I think that's illegal. I'm gonna pick out 4 kids. That would be a C. In this case, I have 8 questions, but am I just picking out some of them to do? No, I'm doing them all. So it's not a P or a C problem. Okay, everybody good with that distinction? All right, what's the answer? What's 2 to the 8th power? 256. What? 256, 256, good. All right, how many ways can I give away a pencil, a marker, and an eraser to 3 students in a class of 12? Well, stop. How many kids are in the class? How many are getting a prize? 3. So it's either 12P3 or 12C3. Which one is it? I'm hearing P's up here. Okay, first of all, it doesn't matter. Yes, it's either a P problem or a C problem. Why is it a P problem? Because the prizes are different. Listen to Cam, he hasn't even been here and he knows. Oh wait, you know why he knows? Because he came to office hours this morning. Think about it, folks, think about it. All right, anyway, if you are picking people to do the same thing, to get the same prize to do the same job, it's a C. But if you're picking people to do different jobs or get different prizes, it's a P, 12P3. And what is 12P3? 1320, 1,300 and,
I was confused. I'm calling right now. On the social
all right.
media, something like that.
How many, what?
I know this one.
Okay.
I did too.
How many 8-letter words can be formed from the letters of prettier? All right, Aaron, what do you think?
You gotta do 8 factorial.
Okay,
divided
stop. Why are we doing 8 factorial?
Because there's 8 letters.
Because there's 8 letters in the word, so we're starting with 8 factorial.
And then you divide it by 2 factorial, and then you have to divide that by 2 factorial, and then another 2 factorial.
Now, why are all these 2 factorials down here?
Because there's 2 R's, 2 E's, and 2 P's. The numbers.
2 R's, 2 P's, and 2 E's. And each one, it's a repeat, however many of those there are, you divide by that factorial. So remember when we did Mississippi and we had 4 S's or something? We divided by 4 factorial. Now, let's all type this in because I want to make 100% sure that we're getting the right answer. No. 5,040. The answer is 5,040. If you are not getting that answer, then you are not dividing by all of it. You have to divide by all of it. So, 8 factorial divided by 2 factorial, divided by 2 factorial, divided by 2 factorial. We have to divide, and when Erin said it, she said divided by each one. Each one is being divided by. Make sure you're typing that in and getting 5,040. How many ways can 10 people be seated around a campfire?
10 factorial.
Not 10 factorial. 9 factorial. If I said, how many ways can 10 people sit on a log at the campfire? That would be 10 factorial. But when we see people in a circle, it is 1 less. We talked about that with the picture on the board. Circles have no beginning and no end. They have a bunch of rotations. So we have to get rid of those duplicates. So one more time. 10 people in a row is 10 factorial. 10 people in a circle is 9 factorial. And what is 9 factorial? 362,880. How many committees consisting of 3 boys and 5 girls can be formed from a class of 10 boys and 8 girls? So I have 10 boys and 8 girls. From the boy group, I am choosing 3. From the girl group, I am choosing 5. Okay, my groups are separate. Here's my pile of boys. Reach in and grab 3. For a committee, is that going to be 10P3 or 10C3? C. They're on a committee. They all have the same job. They're on the committee. So that's 10C3. All right, what is that? 120?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I gotta pick my girls. How many ways can I do that? 8C5? And what's that? 56. Now, remember when I went to my closet and I picked a jumper and a shirt? I multiplied those because I was wearing both. I can pick boys this many ways. I can pick girls this many ways. Don't I have to pick both? So what am I going to do with these two numbers? I'm picking boys and girls, and always means multiply. 6,720, final answer. Remember, on test day, you need a final answer. Okay, so all this work is good stuff. It's good to have that down there in case you make a mistake. But, you gotta have an answer. All right, number 8. I'm gonna have a 5-card hand. This is a probability question. When you are doing a 5-card hand and you want to know the probability, this will be your denominator every single time. Because that is the total number of hands, 5-card hands, there are in a deck. So 52C5 is your denominator, if it's a 5-card hand. Now your numerator is what we want. Okay? What do we want? We want all diamonds. 13C5. And why is it 13C5? Because there's 13 diamonds. Here's the file, there's 13 of them, and I'm gonna pick out 5. Now, remember these probabilities are often very small, so don't forget the times 10 at the end.
Big guy.
4.95 times 10 to the negative 4. Nearest thousand would be 4.95 times 10 to the negative 4. All right, I need to see everybody typing that in. Leah, you typing? Okay. What is the probability of being dealt a 5-card hand? Stop right there, the denominator is 55. Probability, fraction, denominator total 52C5. And the numerator is what? Exactly 3 aces. What will that look like? Izzy? 4C3 would be exactly 3 aces. Would you agree with her? How many aces are in the deck? 4. How many of them are you picking? 3. 4C3. Exactly. Mr. Lee says, I also need 48C2. This is the tricky problem. Why do I need that? Because I gotta have 5 cards. Right, guys? Gotta have 5. And if 3 of them are aces, then the other 2 are something else. And how many something else cards are there? 48. Yeah, I'm picking 2 out of that 48. Okay, so you have 4 aces, 48 others. Taking 3 out of this pile, 2 out of this pile. It's like boys and girls. Aces, not aces. All right, what's our answer? Just 1 second. No way can I do that. I got 0.0017. Which, if I'm rounding to the nearest thousand, would be 0.002. And I'm rounding to the thousand because I read the directions. All right, read question number 10. What's your thought on that? Number 10. It's a tree problem. Kids, read it. Do you feel like, oh, this is a tree diagram problem? The way it's worded? So what's going on? We got rain happening and we have tennis happening. All right, rain and tennis. The question that's being asked is, find the probability I will play tennis. So when I build my tree diagram, tennis has to go on the bottom. Because remember, the question always goes on the bottom. So you first of all got to read the problem and say, oh, this is conditional probability. This is going to be a tree diagram. All right, so what are the 2 things going on? Rain and tennis. Okay, so what's the question? The question is, find the probability I will play tennis. So that goes on the bottom, always. Are you listening to me? So that you get your diagram set up correctly? Now, we'll do the top part first. What's the probability it's gonna rain? 45. Read the question. Read it all the way through. The probability it's gonna rain tomorrow is 45. So this is 0.45, which means this is 0.55. Because it's gonna rain or it's not gonna rain, and those have to add up to 100. Max, are you not feeling well? Are you sick? Okay, then I need your head up and eyes open. All right, if it rains tomorrow, then the probability I'll play tennis is 15%. So rain and tennis is 15, which means this is 0.85. If it doesn't rain, the probability I'll play tennis is 90%, which means this is 0.10 or 0.1. So there's 2 ways that I can play tennis. I can play tennis if it rains. So rain and tennis, I multiply those. It's gonna rain and I'm gonna play tennis, multiplying, right? Or it's not gonna rain and I'm going to play tennis. So rain and tennis. No children and and why am I gonna, or what operation am I gonna put in here? Well, because when it's A or B, I add. So I'm gonna figure out what those two individuals are. I got 0.5625. Now, as you are preparing, remember, I'm not gonna be standing up here blabbing. You're not gonna be able to help each other. So you're gonna need to read the question and recognize it's a tree diagram. That's the first one, so you can get started. And a tree diagram you'll recognize because it's gonna say something like, if it does this, then I'll do this. If it doesn't do this, then I'll do this, right? It has that. All right, what do you think about number 11? That's a Venn diagram. Why is that a Venn diagram? Because I got 50 kids, right? And some of them are singing, some of them are praying, and it says and or, so some of them might be doing both, right? So this is a Venn diagram. So here's my Venn diagram. I got a praying ball and a singing ball, and I've got 50 altogether. All of them, so everybody either sings, prays, or both. Read that sentence. See how it says all of them? That means there's nobody out here. Because these people would be the ones that don't sing and don't pray. And we don't have any of those in this problem. 25 enjoy singing. Don't you dare put 25 there. That 25 is the whole circle, right? The whole thing. 32 enjoy praying. That's not here. That's the whole P-ball is praying. Okay? Now we have a little bit of a problem. Because there's 25 kids that say they like to sing. And there's 32 kids that like to pray. What's wrong with that scenario? They're supposed to add up to 50 and they add up to more than 50, 57. Which means what? Some voted twice, and you can figure out how many voted twice. How many extras do we have? So we had 7 extra votes. So there's 7 kids who like both. Now, if the whole P-ball is 32, keep it straight, this is my P-ball. If the whole P-ball is 32, then this is 25. Because 7 of them are right there. And if the whole S-ball is 25, then this is 18. And now I can answer the question, how many only pray? These are the only prayers, right? 25. They only pray. So again, as you are studying, please read these problems over a couple times and say, oh yeah, that's what a Venn diagram problem sounds like. This is what a tree diagram problem sounds like. All right, number 12. We're going to expand 2y to the fourth. Okay? The first thing that has to happen is you've got to figure out what your coefficients are. Because every term is going to have a coefficient, a number. Anybody remember where the numbers come from? We go to, yeah, some people call it a pyramid. We go to Pascal's triangle, right? And which row of Pascal's triangle will I go to? I go to the fourth row. If you don't have it memorized, and that's okay, you certainly don't have to memorize it, you need to be able to build it. So we'll start with 1 and 1 always, that's how we start. Every row starts and ends with a 1, and then the numbers in the middle are these two added together, right? Simone, are you feeling okay? You need your head up, sweetie. I get in trouble. When, the heads are down. I don't know if you noticed or not, but those cameras used to be turned on the teacher so they could watch the teacher, and then they came in and they turned them so they're watching you. So when they watch this class, if there's heads down, I get an email and says, you know, why are their heads down? I remember they signed this class, yes.
I felt like this, people that were like, oh, you should tell them to shut up.
They watch, not too often, but, all right. So I need everybody focused, even if you couldn't care less about this, stay focused. You got 2 tests you have to take, this one and one more. Some of you are in, you might not even have to take the exam if you keep doing well. Some of you are like, I just need to pass. But let me pay attention. All right, here we go. 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. Those numbers are from the 4th row of the triangle. That's how I started. All right? I hope you're paying attention and maybe you're taking a little note. Step 1, write down the row. That row. Next to all of those numbers, you're going to put an X. Because that's an X right there. And you're going to put a negative 2y. Whatever the 2 pieces are in your problem, that's what goes next to every single one of those numbers. Okay? What's next? Well, they're going to be multiplied, but before I multiply them, I need exponents. I need to put my exponents on. So we remember that on x, on the first term here, on x, that exponent is that number. So this is 4. And then they count down. And then the y's do the same thing in the other direction. And my little check as I'm going is the exponents in each little term all have to add up to that number. Now, I always like to put plus signs in between here to separate the terms, because then I'm going to do exactly what Zion said a minute ago. I'm going to simplify. Now, negatives, for some reason, bother us. It is not a minus, it is a negative sign, right? Every term is either going to be negative or positive. This first term is going to be positive because anything to the 0 power is just 1. So that's not even there. The next term is going to be negative because it's literally 4 times x cubed times negative 2y. That is a multiplication. So when I multiply, I get a negative 8x cubed y. 4 times negative 2, that's all multiplication. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Now I think the next one's going to be positive because I'm going to have 6 times x squared. And what's going to happen to my negative here? It's going to be gone because when I square negative 2y, I get positive 4y squared. Negative 2y times negative 2y. So that's going to be 24 x squared y squared. There's no negatives inside the terms, no minuses. You're going to have a negative out in front or you're not. All right, I've got 4 times x. Watch it. What's this? Negative 2y times negative 2y times negative 2y is negative 8 y cubed. Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is negative 8. So that's negative 32 xy cubed. And then finally on the end, that's gone. What's negative 2 to the 4th power? 16. What does your test look like? Yes. So you will have to do this. You will have to do a problem that looks like this one. All right, I gotta erase all this. Let's get going on the next one. Anybody have a question about that? That is the answer. There's nothing else you can do with it. They don't combine. That's it. That's the answer. Alright, now you're going to do basically the same thing, only instead of doing all the terms, you're only going to do the third one. If you were doing them all, in other words, you were doing what you just did, what would be step 1? You would find the numbers all the way down in the 7th row, right? Now 7 isn't that big of a number. You could go ahead and do that. But do you remember a shortcut to get those numbers we talked about? Ronick? Yeah, they're the C numbers. So in the 7th row, it would be 7C7, that's the first number. And the next number would be 7C6, 7C5, 7C4. It would go all the way down to 7C0. Now, I'm giving you another option. You could build the triangle down to the 7th row. It wouldn't take that long. It would be bad if it was 17. That would be bad. But 7, you can build it down if you want. Or you can remember that these are the numbers in the 7th row. You start with 7C7. Okay? And build down from there. I want all the numbers in a row. Since I'm only doing the third term, isn't this the number I need? So what is 7C5? It's the only number I need. 21. So there's my number. That's like this right here. That's the number. Next to the number will be a 2x and a y. Right? And then I need my exponents. So again, if I were writing out the whole row, in the first term, what would be the power on the 2x? 7. In the second term, that power would be 6. And in the third term, that power is 5. I'm counting down. I just don't have to write them all out this time. The minute I put a 5 there, I know this one's got to be a 2, because they got to add up to 7. And now I'm ready to simplify. So I have 21 times, what's 2 to the 5th?
No.
32 x to the 5th, y 3. So then I multiply 21 times 32, 672 x to the 5th y squared. And that is the third term. I didn't have to write them all out. I could have, like I did the last problem, but I really was only interested in the third term.
Question, so how'd you get the 5 over the 2x
In the
again?
first term, it's 7. The second term, it's 6. Next term, it's 5. It's count down.
Oh, so you just copy it again, okay.
Count down. All right, number 14. How do I calculate this by hand? Well, we have to remember our formula. Who remembers? What's the formula for 8C5? If all you do is write down the answer, you get 0 credit, right? You need to know the formula. 8C5 is what? Exactly. That's it. 8 factorial divided by 5 factorial, 3 factorial. Go back and look at your notes. We did a bunch of these the other day. Now, we're doing this by hand, so you have a calculator. You can check with your calculator. You can use your calculator for arithmetic, but not until you've canceled out your denominator. So remember how we did that? 8 factorial is 8 times 7 times 6 times 5, dot, dot, dot. This is 5 dot, 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 times 3 times 2 times 1. So from the 5s down, it's gone. And then 3 times 2 is 6 to cancel with that one. Now you can go to your calculator. You lost the entire denominator. So if you need your calculator to help you, because sometimes you're left with no numbers, then you can, and the answer is 56. And then, of course, you can check that on your calculator, because if you type in AC5, it better say 56. If it doesn't, then you know you messed up, right? All right, 15. Another Venn diagram. We got apples and bananas. And we know the probability of apples is 0.7, the probability of bananas is 0.5, and the probability of apples and is 0.7, this guy right here must be 0.4. And if the whole banana ball is 0.5, this must be 0.2. So the question says, what's the probability we like apples and not bananas? So in other words, isn't this only apples? I only like apples. So the only like apples people are right here. This one says, I don't like apples and I don't like bananas. Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. That means I don't like any of that, right? Joseph? It is 0.1 because those people are out here. And why is that 0.1? Because you have 40%, 30%, and 20%. So how many percent is inside? 90. That means there's 10% outside. So that answer is 0.1. All right, now we've got our chart. Okay, last time we did one of these, it was M&Ms with colors. Now it's classes. All right, so I'm going to pick somebody out of class 1 and somebody out of class 2, and I want them both to like math. Okay? Well, how many like math, or what's my number, what's my probability for class 1? 0.6. What's my probability for class 2? 0.4. Since I need class 1 and class 2, I'm going to multiply those and get 0.24.
Is that biased?
What is the probability that the first class guy likes math and the second class guy likes science? First likes math, that's 0.6. Second likes science, that's 0.2. Since it's math and science, I'll multiply and get 0.12. Okay? What is the probability that neither will like art? So no art and no art. All right, class 1. What's the probability you don't like art? What? 0.9. Guys, what's the probability you do like art? 0.1. That means you don't like art, the other 90%? We're talking about being your favorite class. So 10% of the kids art is their favorite class. That means 90% it's not. All right, what about class 2? 0.9 again? So the probability that I will get no arts is 0.81. Last one. What is the probability that I got one liking science and the other liking English? So science and English. What's that look like? 0.1 times 0.3. So that will be 0.03. But we're not done. Do you see it?
You don't know.
We don't know who likes what, and it doesn't tell us. Do you see that? So we did science and English, or it could be English and science. Would you agree with that? So English and science would be 0.2 and 0.2. before? So it can be science and English, or English and science. So what am I gonna do with those two numbers? Add them, and the answer is 7. Please make sure you see the difference between problem B and problem D. They are different.